Okay, so time for another video. Um, I guess the goal of this, as I've said in previous videos, please have a look at them. The goal is to keep on practicing, to keep on getting more comfortable speaking to a camera. This is part of my midlife crisis, maybe, I don't know. But certainly the idea of personal development has always been part and parcel of what I'm about. And so I've tasked myself with this idea of having at least 26 videos on YouTube this year, chronicling my efforts and developments this year. The reality is it's going to be a lot more than 26 because I realise the more reps I do, the better I get at doing this. And the more reps I do really should reflect the fact that I'm actually doing things outside of the video as well in terms of improving myself. So for context, I've got a background in finance. I've also been a career coach, life coach, CV writer. So I'm about, helping, finance maybe not so much, but helping people improve themselves. But I don't think I've worked on myself enough. So anyway, back to this YouTube journey. So a couple of days ago, I was looking at a YouTube on my algorithmic roll call of videos that just pop up, and there's this one guy who really, I'd say he's like a younger version of me. I just saw the picture, younger version of me. The thumbnail was rubbish, didn't look very sophisticated, kind of looked like what I would put out, to be fair. But that was the thing, he had 12,000 views. And it made me think, well, this guy is no better, no worse in terms of the thumbnail than myself. So he clearly has a following and a message to be heard. And really, it was very quite personal development focused, very. I'm British, so I'll say quite American. I think not to offend, but we have different ways of approaching personal development. But the point being, I saw him and thought, he is as welcome in the YouTube chamber of personal development as anybody else. He's clearly doing something right to have so many views after 4 days, 3-4 days of it being posted onto YouTube. So it was almost a realization, why can't I? I mean, I'm as good, bad, or indifferent as the next person. And I know I've talked in previous videos about confidence issues, but the more I think about it is, the reality is, I believe I'm as important, as relevant as anybody else is in the room, and they are as important and as relevant as I am. So on that equal footing, why shouldn't I post stuff on YouTube in order to develop myself, monetize the approach? Who knows? Because I've always had this thing that there's a certain structure behind the monetization of YouTube, or at least the creator economy has a certain demographic, if you will. And I love the Tim Ferrisses of this world. I love Tony Robbins, but they're not me. They don't look like me. Yes, certainly parts of their background have been challenged, but doesn't mean that my voice or anybody else like me can't have a voice. And really, this is just more me kind of challenging my own insecurities about personal development or about putting myself out there, because that's really what this is. This is about me pushing myself to do something differently. Now, I guess in terms of how I'm looking at this video, so I've probably put out about 7 or 8 so far, and slowly but surely I'm getting 1 or 2 views. And that is really what this is about. This is about incrementally compounding the practice. I will keep on tweaking the production. Production value is not great. I know that. This is on a phone. It's not even on an iPhone. It's on a Samsung. But it's about me improving these things. And by 4 months down the line, 5 months down the line, hopefully I'll suddenly think, wow, that is so far away from where I was in that first video. But also, because I have a background in things like finance, in things like personal development, I should be giving this back to the world in some shape or form. Very soon, touch wood, I will be putting out a newsletter. Again, I've been writing on Medium, the platform Medium, for about 18 months. But I feel a newsletter will help me crystallize not just my thoughts, but some of the best thoughts out there. Because, some of the great ideas aren't just from those Tim Ferriss's, Gary V's, Tony Robbins, etc., type people. Anybody could come up with a great idea, a great concept, a great philosophy. A lot of these ideas have been around for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, however long people have been generating useful thoughts. It's just the way that these ideas are packaged to different types of people, different demographics, age groups, call it what you will. And sometimes it is all about when the pupil is ready, the teacher will appear. So what I plan to talk about isn't going to be revolutionary. It's simply the way that I see the world, and I'm imparting it in a way that hopefully some other people will actually resonate with. And that's what this is about. Everyone has a voice, everyone has a valid voice, and hopefully that valid voice will be heard and will at least touch at least one person's life. So that's really what this whole process is about. Again, me practicing, I'm still feeling the nerves at this exact moment in time. So I'm not going to be using any video editing at all at the moment. It's just get out there, practice it. Me hopefully imparting some ideas and hopefully helping someone along the way. So if I'm going to share something, that could be useful for people this time round, it's the idea of trying to segment your life into different areas. So you could think about it as, and it's kind of obvious in many ways, certain parts of your life will be doing better at certain times than others. You might have a great career at the moment, but the hours you're putting into your work could be impacting your social life, it could be impacting your relationships, it could be impacting your health. So you focus in so much on one thing, something else is being impacted. You've got the most amazing social life at the moment, but what does that come with? It might come with an impact again on your health. It might have an impact again on your finances. It might impact your career. You might be going out too much. So this is about how do you find balance in life. Now there's no kind of one size fits all, but what I try to do on every single month is to just check in on myself. How am I doing in this part of my life? How is how are my finances? And if there's something that's not working well in my finances, I look to other parts of my life to see whether that part of my life is taken away from it. So from a finances perspective, it could be I am spending a lot of money socially. So should I rebalance? But the impact in my finances could be I am spending money on personal development or career development. Should I rebalance? Not necessarily. This could be purely investing in your future, which should ultimately have a positive impact on your finances longer term. So have a think about how you balance your life at the moment. You can look online, just Google Wheel of Life, and this is a way of segmenting out your life into different segments. Different wheels of life have different approaches, but it's really about looking at your relationships, your career, your finances, your health, and so on and so forth. And then you score yourself, and you score yourself every month, every quarter, to see whether there's an imbalance. And if there is an imbalance, whether there's a way in which to rebalance it through perhaps not going out as much, which could improve other bits, or perhaps not working so much so that you can spend more time on your relationships. And this is a very simple tool. It's not the most sophisticated. It's not something that takes a long time to create. But again, a lot of these things that I think are quite simple may never have been thought about by you, for example, you who's looking at this video. So that's, again, my first share on this video. Well, I've shared a few other things, but in terms of from a professional perspective. And I plan to keep on improving these videos over time, again, as part of my own personal development, but also hopefully other people will join me on the journey to develop themselves. And once my newsletter is up and running, I will also share details about that. So that's it for me this time. And yeah, keep working on yourself.